What else did we have on Saturday? Well, you had Brooklyn dominate Chicago. I mean, pretty much from the opening tip-off.
Yeah, Chicago didn't show up. They didn't make the plane flight. I think it was still they might have had some no-fly zones going on. They just couldn't make it. They just threw some lookalikes on the court with some jerseys and
Said, just try to, not get in the way.
yeah.
No, it was a bad
Deron
game,
Williams
man.
looked like a star. Brooke Lopez dominated the paint.
Joe Johnson even played all right.
He played all right. The only one who had a pretty decent game was, I think, Boozer from the Bulls. Really, they just got stomped. I was texting you during the game, too.
Yeah.
I knew you were at work, and I was like, it's a good thing he's not watching this. You'd just be a bitter sports fan.
Well, I mean,
right now.
I've watched enough bowl games to know that they have had that problem all year long, where sometimes that offense just does not show up, and the defense can only do so much. And one thing about basketball, every team goes on a run, but when you suck on offense, your run is like 4-0 or 6-0 runs. So you take a 21-point lead, you get it down to 15. You're like, all right, let's get it down to single digits. We got a chance at this. And offensively, Chicago just doesn't have it. When their guys can make their shots, they're in every game. They have the defense to compete, but their offense is so inconsistent, it's not even funny. Apparently going to have Heinrich and Noah back tonight, which is huge. Very excited to go to game 2. I think Chicago wins tonight. I do. I didn't think they were going to win game 1. I didn't think they were going to lay an egg like they did in game 1. But I didn't think they were going to win. I mean, they just struggled. But, Eric, you pointed out the fact earlier that, the home teams in the playoffs this weekend went 8-0. They also won by an average margin of 16 points per game. There was a lot of dominant performances. The other domination game you had on Saturday was the Clippers. The Clippers owned Memphis. They had a big win. I think they won by like 17 or 21 or something like that. They had a big win against Memphis for LA, which actually surprised me. I felt I felt this series was going to be tight every game. Not saying this series still doesn't go 6 or 7 games, but I was just shocked that the first game was such a blowout. And then you ended Saturday with Denver Golden State, correct? I got my schedule right? I believe I got my schedule right. And if you ended with Denver Golden State, that actually was probably the best game of the entire weekend when it came down to just sheer entertainment, down to the wire. You had Steph Curry hit a 3 to tie it really late. And then Andre Miller, the old man that gets younger every year, hits the game-winning layup, puts Denver up. Biggest news coming out of that game, though, because, I mean, it's only one game. You don't want to,
David Lee has got to be the story coming out of that game.
That David Lee injury is really...
Torn hip flexor, done for the rest of the season.
And he was about the only guy Golden State had that sort of could try to neutralize Kenneth Faried, who also is going to return for game 2.
Yeah.
And David Lee would be the one guy that you look at on Golden State and say, well, hey, not saying he's going to stop Kenneth Faried, but you can slow him down. He'll take a couple rebounds away from Kenneth Faried. He'll get us a few more possessions or stop Denver from getting a few extra possessions. Now, let's be honest. Denver is 38-3, you said to me, at home this year. That doesn't include their win on Saturday. But 38-3 at home this year, they're not going to be an easy team to beat there anyway. I think this is going to be a very exciting series, but that David Lee injury really could end up hurting Golden State. Puts even more pressure on Steph Curry, who is clearly becoming one of the best individual scorers we have in the NBA. I don't really think there's any question about that at this point with this kid. He can just drop buckets. Now they just need to get some more talent around him in Golden State. But they're going to... I think Golden State-Denver still turns into a hell of a matchup. I really do. I think it still can go 6 games. I don't think it goes 7. I think it could definitely reach 6. The David Lee injury is going to be brutal. You're going to need some other guys to step up if you're Golden State.
Absolutely.
And that's, those are some big shoes to fill, man. David Lee's a double-double machine. Led the NBA this year in double-doubles, actually.
Yeah, that's why they call him Mr. Double-Double. But I think that loss can be too much for them to overcome. I think Nuggets are just way too good at home. 38-3 this year at home in the regular season. I don't see them losing at home to Golden State. So no matter how far this series goes, it's got to be Golden State. Or I
It got to be Denver,
the
yeah.
Nuggets.
Even I knew
Sorry.
you didn't mean to say Golden State.
Yeah,
That one I
Nuggets.
picked up on. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, if you got an opinion on any of these series or you want to change the topic, you can always call in 201-430-2119. I mean, great NBA playoff weekend, though. There's no denying that. 8-0 for the home teams is just crazy to me. Last time that happened, I think it was 2004, they said. That's just nuts, though. 8-0. You started your day off yesterday with another dominant performance by Indiana over Atlanta.
A lot of dominant performances. I mean, the Clippers over Memphis was a dominant performance. The OKC over Houston. I mean,
last night, that was
wasn't
just
even
a
a game.
rout. And I feel bad too because James Harden really played his ass off for Houston last night, but they just didn't have enough for Durant and Westbrook. I saw Kendrick Perkins running a fast break dunk. Serge Ibaka playing well. Yeah, you had Cephalosha out there playing well. Collison playing well for OKC. Even Derek Fisher got in there, hit a couple threes. Shout out to Pixel Junkie though, keeping the convo going for us in the chat room. Mark Jackson will find a way, but the Nuggets are insane in every fast break. You know what? I really like Mark Jackson as a head coach. I don't know if you do.
Yeah, but he's not getting it done with this team, though.
He's not going to be. He just doesn't have the
Not
talent
without David Lee.
to go against Denver. There's no question. And
Josh Smith is playing like the season's over because, let's face it, the season is over. Nobody thinks they're beating Indiana in a 7-game series anyway. So,
but you know as well as everybody knows, he shouldn't just give up. But
listen,
that's
it's like the
shame.
Bucks. Pack it in, get on a plane, just call mercy, wave the white flag. It's over. It's over, Johnny. Stick a fork in him. It's like Houston. Houston's got no chance against OKC in a 7-game series.
No, but you still want him to go out there and try. As a fan, I want him to go out there and try just for more entertaining basketball. I do agree with what Pixel put in, though, for Josh Smith, though. You should be going balls to the wall, dude. You're looking for a big-time contract after this year. You want somebody to pay you big money after this year. So, you know what? I'm actually with Pixel on that one. You should be going balls to the wall, even if the rest of your team isn't. You should be all out, nonstop, play in, play out, whistle to whistle. There's no reason for him to pack it in after one game of the opening round playoff series.
Pack it up, pack it in.
Let me begin. Want about me? That's a sin. Yeah, I love
exactly.
That song. Great times.
Exactly.
But like I say, you can't just. You're just being you. But
those series are as over as that man's career is. They really are. I'm telling you, the OK series is over already. Listen, you could tell me that maybe OKC gets a little complacent in the second game because they beat them so badly in the first that maybe Houston could steal game 2. Even if that were to happen, there's no chance of Houston beating them in the 7-game series.
Let me ask you a question then, based on the weekend as a whole with the playoff basketball. From what you felt on Friday to how you feel now, what, if anything, has changed? Because I know you felt Miami was going to blow out Milwaukee and probably sweep them. I know you felt the same way about OKC and Houston. And I know you also felt the same way that, what's it called? That Brooklyn was going to win. Like, I know, what you had. But your opinion had to change at least a little bit or a lot on at least one of these series, if not more than one. So, like I said, after this weekend now that this weekend is in the books, what about your opinions from Friday has changed today?
I think Indiana could sweep. I think that changed. That instead of them winning, I think I had them. You could tell me better than
I think you said 5 or 6.
Don't you have it in your phone?
No. Oh yeah, no, good call. Good
you
call.
You have it all right there.
I do. Yeah, I do. I forgot that I did that.
Well, that's why we do these things.
It's beneficial.
Well, because then we don't have to sit here and scratch our heads. It's all there.
We predicted scores. And you had Indiana win by 5.
No, but we also on when we were here Thursday with Mike, we predicted the game, the series for all the series.
Yeah, I don't have that.
All right. Our game predictions, I think most of them were pretty off.
Score-wise,
Except for one. I feel like there was one where I called it a 7-point game, and I think it was a 7-point game.
I'm Miami winning 112-90. I know they dominated even more than that. You were pretty close with New York, Boston, 94-87. You had the Clippers winning by 14, 101-87.
Yeah, but they ended up winning by like 21, so I'm not calling that close.
You had Miami winning 104-90. OKC winning 108-99. San Antonio 95-89.
See, I feel like I went too high on all the predictions, all the games. I'll tell you what, that's something that surprised me from this weekend. How low scoring all these games were. For the most part. Like, I know OKC put up 120. But still, I don't know. I just feel like, one, the blowouts, I thought we would have had a few closer games, and two, that the scores weren't as high as I thought they'd be.